Hi folks, Jeb here from TogetherMade. I'm just going to walk through some field repair today. You may have just picked up or are about to pick up the January package that we're part of with Wazoo Survival Gear. So they've got this cool patch cap, cash cap with a Velcro patch on the front, and we made these repair patches that fit on the front. That have a substrate of holes for making repairs. And these cool hats have all these little pockets for holding gear. Mine has some of the little repair patches and some needles and some thread. So there's two kinds of patches in the kit. There's the big Velcro patch on the front, and if you were going to make a big field repair on a belt or something of that nature, or a buckle, say that one of these straps on your hunting pack tore free and you wanted to kind of get it all back together, you might take that patch off your hat or your pack and use this same technique that I'm about to show you to repair it. These little sticker patches, while we were developing this kit for January, we had fall hunting season, and I ended up tearing my pants and my jacket. And they were both smaller repairs than the big field repair. So these are my Filson hunting bibs. They're great. They're warm. They're quiet. So I like to hunt in these when I can. But I nicked them on some barbed wire, and so I had a little square cut in them, and so I made this little patch to repair those, and it worked great. And then I also, on the same trip, decided I didn't want to wear my bino harness anymore, and I was just going to shove my binoculars in my pocket. And I ripped the pocket out of this old Filson jacket I've had for 20 years. And so I started to repair that with the same patches. And I've got a bigger repair to do down here, but where the pocket attached here and ripped out, I've repaired that. I didn't do the middle part yet, but I've repaired that, and it's holding strong. That'll stay good, and it looks great too. So those are just a couple examples from fall. So what I'm going to show you today is I've got a piece of canvas here with tear in it. This is pretty much what that tear looked like in my pants. And we're going to do a saddle stitch, but we're going to do it blind. And the reason I'm not doing it in an actual garment is because it'd be pretty hard to demonstrate. Because you won't be able to see my inside hand. So I'll explain. So we're going to take our thread, and this is waxed poly from Maine Thread Company. And you don't need it all. This is 2 meters of thread that comes in the kit. So I just take half of it. And if you haven't done the saddle stitch before, take that down there. You're going to put a needle on each end of this thread. Okay? So if you watch, I'm going to put this through the eye, pull it through about 6 inches. 2 inches from the end, I'm going to poke through the thread, and then I'm going to pull that down over the eye. It's stormy out there. All right, so now I'm going to take the other harness needle, and these are CS Osborne 517-0 harness needles if you're curious. Put it through the eye. Poke through, pull it down over. Oops, I missed. Sometimes you miss. This is 3-stranded thread. It's pretty strong stuff. There you go. All right, so I've got my little repair patch here. I'm going to peel that without taking the sticker off, the sticky part. And I'm just going to, I might clean this up a little bit. I might clean some of those threads up. I'm just going to place it over my tear, and I want the whole tear covered if I can, but I really want to make sure that that part that's open is cared for. All right, so now I've got that on there, like so. And I'm going to start in one corner, and imagine this were a sleeve or a leg and a pant. I would have my inside hand on the inside, so it would be blind is what I'm saying. but I'm going to demonstrate it like this. So the saddle stitch, you're going to go through that first hole, and you're going to get the same amount of thread on both sides of the piece. In this case, our back side would be the inside. Now, we've made these holes slightly larger, so we're going to go to the next one in line, and they're slightly larger than they need to be, and they're that way because we're going to use them. This is my inside needle, so I've got the outside needle just poking through, and I'm going to grab it, the outside needle, and use it as a guide. Okay, so here's what this would look like on the inside of your garment or whatever. You would take that one, you would pinch this one, and you would come through and use it as a guide to get you into that same hole. Now that's pretty hard to do if you don't have a guide to hit a hole like that through a piece of cloth with no visibility. So then we can pull that tight. So that's our first stitch. Okay, so we've gone through that second hole from both sides now, and so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go through. Okay, I'm just poking it part way through, taking my backside needle. I'm going to pinch that onto it, onto the one that's coming through, and then I'm going to slide that back through. So you can see that coming through now. I'll just get this one out of the way, pull that one through, and then I'll put the front side needle through. Okay, so I'm just going to work my way around doing that. And it might be a little bit more difficult inside a pair of pants. Certainly might take a little bit longer. That Filson jacket on that, the rim of that pocket was like 3 layers of tin cloth, wax tin cloth, and so that was a little bit more difficult. So I'm just kind of cheating now and looking at the back side. You get the idea, is that you're just saddle stitching around the edge. So I'm just going to saddle stitch all the way around, and then I'll show you how to finish it. All right, coming down to my last few stitches now. So just been doing that same technique all the way around. Got a nice set of stitches. I'm pulling them snug. Coming in, bottom of that hole, stacking this needle on top, identifying that hole based on where that needle is. If I was blind, I would do that. I couldn't see inside of the garment, I would hold it like that. And then we're pulling through in both directions, pulling it nice and tight. Again, through the bottom of that hole. So there's space on top of the needle. I'm going to pinch, I'm going to push through. There we are. I'm going to bring the back side needle through. Going to bring the front side needle through the same hole. Now I'm down to just a couple more. So this is the one before the last. So I'm going to go through. I'm going to stack on back side, stack on top, push through. I'm going to bring both of those guys tight. So now I'm in that final corner. You can see, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring the front side needle through. I'm not going to come through the other side. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take, and I'm going to just tie a little double knot, like so. And then I'm just going to clip that. Leave about 1/8 of an inch. And if you have room, you could get in there and melt that. If you don't, it's not going to come undone. So just melt that down if you can. Flatten it out. Now you've got a nice repair that's not going anywhere. Nice square. Now, for this inside part, because we don't want that flapping around, we would come back through and do the same stitch in the X there. So I'll just get that started just to kind of explain it real quick. So I'm just going to take the thread off. And I would use the full other side, but I'm not going to complete it. I'm just going to kind of get it started so you have a sense of how to do it. So now I've got 2 needles again on 1 thread. I'm going to go in one of these diagonals, maybe the one that doesn't have the tear, so there's more substance to it. Doesn't really matter. It's just kind of about ease of access and stuff not flopping around. So the same deal. We've got even amount of thread. We're going to go through the next hole, pull tight. I should have used the needle as a guide to locate that hole, but I can see, so I didn't have to. Then we're going to go through the middle hole, and what I like to do is I like to go out those 2 and back, and then out those 2 and back, and then come out here and finish up. So those 2 stitches are doubled up, and this is just where we tie off on the back side. It really doesn't matter what you do. You know, you probably could find something that looked decorative, or you can, you know, just keep it simple like I'm doing here. Or, I mean, you could even go, you know, across in one direction and then tie your knot and then go across in the other direction, you know, and tie another knot if you're so inclined. Or you could just do one. It doesn't really matter, because this repair is solid. It's also, you know, it's not going anywhere. That's going to last forever. And so when I go out in the field in these pants, I just got this little reminder to watch out for the barbed wire. But these are perfectly good pants. So that's the deal. You know, I think this stuff's pretty useful, so I think we'll end up making more of these in different sizes. So if you got your hands on the January kit, that's great. That was a pretty cool pairing. I really like these Wazoo guys, and I like their hat. I've been wearing it a lot. I'm keeping a little cash, little sewing needles, a little repair patch in there. You know, it's a great hat. So, all right, well, thanks for watching. Stay tuned.